We are back with another episode of Coach's Corner, brought to you by My Game Day Collections, mygamedaycollections.com. They offer styles that are comfortable and an alternative to women's and men's basic t-shirts and hoodies. Also offer royalties on all gross sales back to the schools and universities that sign up with them, and also offer 50% discount on all standard shipping. This edition, I am pleased to be joined by Papillion-La Vista head football coach Tim Williams. Coach, how are we doing today?
I'm doing great, Mike. How's everything going with you guys?
I'm good. I think I'm good. Good enough right now. So first question out of the box here is conditioning's been going on for, a week and a half, I guess, two, right?
Yes.
How's that going and that kind of social distance process working out?
I think it's going well. There's a lot of good things going on. We were concerned, as every coach, I'm sure, we're concerned about, 25 in the room, 25 outside, and so on and so forth. What we found was 25 is a pretty good number. In years past when there wasn't a COVID issue, you put a bunch of kids into a weight room and you kind of focus on the kids that need redirecting and so on and so forth. And you kind of forget about those kids that, that are doing good things, and you don't kind of give them the attention that they deserve. What we're finding out is now we're able to give everybody the same attention. So that's a good thing. And I think we're getting better in the weight room because of it. As far as conditioning is concerned, we put 25 kids on the field, and we're able to get creative as far as what we can and cannot do. So our receivers are basically running routes at full speed, and our secondary is doing a lot of backpedaling, a lot of hip movements, and so on and so forth, change of direction. Quarterbacks are throwing into a net, still doing some sprinting. We got some hill work. But social distancing is always a challenge. And it's probably our biggest challenge with high school kids. I mean, these kids are wanting to jump on each other and hang on each other, and you know what they do. And that's the difficult part, but they listen. They're good kids. They all listen.
Is it kind of weird having, you can't really share footballs necessarily. So like receivers aren't catching balls and you can't hand it off. I mean, that's got to be a little different, right?
Oh, without a doubt, it's different. But what our receivers coach said the other day was, we get to focus a little bit more on the finite details of actually route running, which in the past it was more or less, okay, we want you to run this, and we kind of tell them the distance is yard, hey, you got to cut it 8 yards, and so on and so forth. But now we're actually teaching the actual what we want the cut to look like, and so on and so forth. So that part's been a positive thing, and it's kind of reminded us as coaches is, man, we really need to do a better job of those little things that we haven't really focused on as much in the past.
Kind of back to the basics then with some of that stuff.
Without a doubt.
So looking at, first of all, let's discuss, there's lights now on the practice field, which is phenomenal. So now you can there's enough turf and grass at Papillion that you can do a lot of different things, and you don't have to, share time and make sure kids are, the band has it this time and the soccer team has it this time and all that. I mean, I'm sure some of that still happens, but, with lights, it totally is a game changer for you guys as far as practice time is concerned.
Huge game changer. The biggest piece I see is, out of football times is exactly what you said. So the band comes down the field, and on a couple of days where we're just finishing up, and they kind of just sit in the stands and wait for us to get done. Mm-hmm. Where now I've already talked to our band director. He could, come down a little bit later, and they have the lights, not to worry about anything about, that piece. But for the football side of it, freshman football games are on Tuesdays, and they're usually 4:30 or 5 o'clock or right around there. I can't ever see them play. Right. And that part's difficult for me, and I want to watch them play. I want to see those kids and get to know them. And so I have already said, the home games that we have for freshman games, we're going to move those tonight so that I can finish practice and then go watch those guys play, or at least the home games.
Yeah.
I hope other schools decide to take that same route on a Tuesday night, but if they don't, they don't. At least I get to watch the home games.
Right. And really the parking situation isn't fantastic there either. So that probably helps alleviate some of that if the times are later.
It sure does. The parking's going to be a little bit – we're under a major construction right now. So we're still going to have some parking issues, but you're right. The parking will be better in the evening because our high school kids' cars will be out of there. Varsity kids will be out of there. It'll be a little bit better.
And you brought up hill, running the hill. There's plenty of hill space there to use.
Yes.
As far as conditioning is concerned.
Yes. It's not a really it's a steep hill, but it's not a long hill. And so when you look at it, you're like, that's not a big enough hill, but it actually, we get a little bit more out of the kids because they can sprint a little bit. They can sprint the whole hill as opposed to halfway and then jog the rest. And I think we're getting more explosion. I like the hill.
Right. It is. So looking ahead and, obviously you're in year 2 now. How you probably feel a little more comfortable, right? Not only just with the roster, but just, in the school and knowing everybody in the school I think you probably have a better idea of administration and all that stuff, right?
Without a doubt. I still think that our administration here is one of the best. You have a great AD, a great principal. The assistant principals are all good. They're all behind you 100%. And that's the part I love. We have a strength coach that came in with me. And him and I have kind of worked together with our 0-hour weights class. And we are learning together and we've gotten better. And being comfortable with him, getting to know how he operates the weight room has been awesome because then I can kind of feed off that. Right. The kids are really responding well to Josh Cage, who's our strength coach, and they do a great job with him, and he's doing a great job, and he's getting better and better and better every day, as am I. And that's the best part about it.
The roster, you had a lot of seniors last year. In particular, you now have a pretty big hole to fill on the offensive line. And when I say big, I mean like literally big.
Huge hole.
How's that going?
It's going. It's going well. Sean Blevins is my offensive line coach, and Sean does a great job with those kids in the off season. Doing just steps and footwork and so on and so forth in the gymnasiums that we can get time to do, and they're getting stronger. We don't have the same size of line, and what we had last year in line, I don't think I've ever had a line that big before. And I wish I had that line back one more year because, with transition from new coach to kids, they'll understand me better this up next year. But it is what it is. The kids that are here, they're really, really working hard, and we're going to have to do some different things, but that's okay, and that's part of the game.
You guys primarily, I think ran the ball last year. Is that going to change? I mean, you had a lot of seniors at the skill positions last year. Is that something that you're looking to change? Do you think? I mean, I know kind of your style is, defense, pounded, all that.
Sure. So what I wanted to do last year, we didn't necessarily go that route because of the fact that I didn't really know much. I just saw the size of the line that you brought up, and we had a couple running backs. I didn't know what we had anywhere else. And Jay Ball I asked Jay Ball to be the OC, and I knew Jay was more comfortable running like an I formation, calling plays that way because he was comfortable. He did it for years at Central and South and so on and so forth. So we kind of went that route. And now that I've got a better feel for what we're doing, and Jay's retired from coaching, and, Dana Jansen is going to be my offensive coordinator, and him and I have been sitting down and talking a lot about what we're going to do as far as the offense is concerned. And we're getting more towards what I wanted to do, which is still going to be running. We're still run first, and I'm a run first guy, right, and want to be a run first guy. But I want to utilize our weapons a little bit more than I thought we did last year. And that's our primary focus right now.
Speaking of weapons, you're going to have a quarterback competition, I'm assuming, I guess,
sure.
This year. That's kind of fun, I guess, right? Hey,
I think competition's always fun. And that's the part that I'm not even worried about the competition at that position as much as I'm excited about the competition at wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
We have a handful of kids. When I say handful, I say probably 2 handfuls of kids that did not play football last year, but are athletes, and they want to come out. And they've been running routes and learning. Some of them look, my goodness, I wish they would have been out last year. Their routes are good. They're quick. And I'm really excited about those kids because they, you want kids that want to be out there, and those kids are doing exactly what we ask of them, and they're learning and great attitude. So I'm looking forward to the wide receiver fight, to be honest with you. That one seems more interesting to me.
What's your kind of, I guess, motto, right? Like, what do you want Papillion football to live by, if you will?
I just want to be, I told the kids the other day, my vision here is we want to be one of the most competitive teams in the Metro Conference, year in and year out. That's an achievable goal, an achievable vision, and the kids know it, and they know what and I ask them, what are you guys going to bring to make that vision attainable? And I've told them over and over, you want to be a physical football team. You want to be as physical as you possibly can be in the Metro, because that's what makes you one of the most competitive teams in the Metro. And that's, so if you're going to look for a motto, it's to be physical. I want to be a physical team.
What's it going to take to kind of get to that hump, or over that hump, if you will? Sure.
It's got the weight room. The weight room is where it starts and ends. And that's the number one thing, changing their mentality is you don't start your workout. You don't start your football workout. You don't start any type of workout until you have finished a strong, hard workout in the weight room. And that's kind of our focus. We do our 0-hour weights in the morning, and I want them working so hard that they go to class. They go to class, we go to practice, they have a great workout, go home, come back and do it all over again. And I think the harder we work in the weight room, the better we're going to become to achieving that goal of being one of the most physical teams.
Your first experience as a coach in the Papillion rivalry was last year. That's kind of fun, right?
Great. I think Tim Clemenger and that crew does a nice job over there. And you know what? I think it's a good, healthy rivalry between the two schools and the community. Obviously, if you were there, you saw how many people show up, because it's a big deal for the community. And I look forward to it now. I didn't know what to actually expect when I saw it, I was like, okay, it's kind of like when I was at Millard. It was like a Millard rivalry. So it was interesting, and I enjoyed every minute of it.
So last one, and this is a question I ask everybody that I have asked everybody on these, is not the most talented player you've ever coached, but your favorite player you've ever coached.
Oh God, I actually heard you ask this question to Paul Lamangi, and he had a lot more. He came up with an answer quicker. You're asking what was like maybe not our best athlete, but our favorite athlete.
Yeah, maybe the guy that showed up to practice every day and gave it his all, but didn't start, or maybe it was the kid that never played but was such a team guy, or maybe it was the best player you've ever.
Sure. And you could name a bunch of your best players of all time. There was a kid I coached my last 5 years in Waverly. His name was Andrew Moylan, and he was a kid that actually, when I met him when he was going to be a freshman, I'm not playing football. I've never played football. And he changed his mind, and he got bigger and stronger. And by his junior year of high school, he worked harder than anybody in that weight room, and he earned some time on the field as a junior. But as a senior, he started every game at corner, and I think he had like 3 or 4 interceptions or something to that nature. I can't remember exactly. But he was one of the hardest hitters we had, and he had never played football before, but it was because of his hard work and everything that he did. He was a great coachable, a wonderful coachable kid. So I'd say Andrew Moylan. There's a lot of them, but if I'm picking one.
Perfect. See, that was an easy answer. There you go. All right, Tim, appreciate it. Thank you very much.
No problem. Hey, thanks for your time, and thanks for what you do.